Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I said today we'll be looking at loops. So, but I would like to know from the class we had on Wednesday, if there's any question from all that we did, and I believe we went on after the class to practice some things that has to do with decision making. So, are there any challenge or something you are not clear with from what we did in the last class? Nobody is responding. Does that mean we are all on the same page? Okay, maybe I will have to call our names. Okay, Mr. Ayedele. So are you clear with all that we've been doing so far?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Goodness, are you clear with all that we've been doing so far?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm
Then
following.
Mr. Bumi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I sent a link to the Slack channel this afternoon, and I don't know if we saw it. It's a link to a podcast hosted by one of my mentors in .NET, and it's a channel. It's a channel in which uh, he brings in software developer and they share their experience, their odds, and how they work around the career. And I just felt it's something resourceful that I should share with you guys since we are looking at becoming a professional software developer in particular day. So I will encourage if you've not gone to check the podcast, it's like a radio. It's like a radio program, but it's an online radio. So it's a podcast held. He invited as many senior developers, but that are Nigerians actually. Invited them and was having conversation with them. I listened to quite a number of them, and I felt you of assistance to us. So the something I sent to the channel on Wednesday, which is a link to the code that actually employs all that we are doing this week. I don't know if we've gone to check it. Do we understand all that I wrote there? Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I said the link I sent to the channel that contains the code I ran on Wednesday that classify the scores and print out if you have passed or you failed, that I sent to the channel as promised. Did you check it?
Yes.
Do you understand all that
Yes,
was
I
written
said
there?
it. Yes. But please, there's a question I mean, I need to ask on that. When I try to run it on what's it called, the VS Code, because I'm using VS Code, it was giving me an error. I don't know if there's still something I need to install.
Hello, Mr. Ayedele. I
Yes.
didn't I
Did
didn't
you hear
get
me?
your question.
Okay, I said I got the what's it called, the link you sent to us, and I downloaded what's it called,
The code.
the programming file. Yeah. So I got the whole thing. But when I was trying to run it on my VS Code, because I'm making use of VS Code, when I was trying to run it, the thing was giving me an error. I don't know if there's still some things I need to install on my.
Okay. Since you are using VS Code, what you actually need is to just to copy the code. The link I shared, when you create a project on Visual Studio, it's not just the project, it's not just the code that will be in the files. There are also other packages that follows.
Yes,
What you should actually need is
yes,
just the code. You just need to copy the code and you paste it and write it the normal way you write. You've run console app on your VS Code before, right? Have you, Mr. Idley?
I'm with you.
Yes, sir. Have you run a console app on your VS Code before?
Yes, Is it the .NET console name?
Yes.
Yes, I've done that, and I was able to write the
I, I
hello
want
world.
I want to show
But
you
after that, I couldn't do.
I want to show you the file that you actually need to copy where the code is.
Okay.
Okay, so I will share my GitHub account now.
Okay.
Okay. So can we all see my GitHub account, like in browser?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so now this learn from home. So you open the decision loop, then you open decision loop also. Then you now click on this program.cs. So now, since all you actually need is just the code now, so this is just the code. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, very cool.
Yeah, so this is just what you need. This is all that has to do with the code up to here. So you just need to copy it and run it on your laptop and see. So you just need the code. You don't need the whole folder, but you can actually fork it on your own account for reference purpose.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah. So, but for those that are using Visual
Thank you.
Studio, they just need to download this particular folder, this decision loop, and maybe open it on their Visual Studio. So every other things we are seeing here, they are what makes up. They are just for Visual Studio users. Okay. So I would like to inform us as from next class we'll start working on projects. We'll start working on projects. I have a vision that we don't just end on the note of nothing tangible. At least there should be a project, and the project that has been on my mind, a very simple one. It's just a calculator. So you guys will be working on that. So after this class, just start thinking about how it's going to come to pass. Like, how do we design a calculator? All that we are doing. Okay, so in the absence of question, I will start today's class. So we are looking at loops for today. And from the example that we just looked at, you will see that I made use of some loops there, the for loops, the while loops, the do while loops, the nested loops, and so on. So I will start. So let me share my Visual Studio with us. Can we all see my Visual Studio?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so now let's start for today. So this is just the same code that, so let me just, I was putting us through something that there's so many shortcuts in Visual Studio. So as it is now, I want to comment all the code. I just highlight it and come here and just comment it out. So, and when I comment, I can from here, come here, come in. Okay, I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm good to go. Okay, now, so let's start. So we're starting with for loop. Now, the concept behind loops is just like you are running, imagine the house you are staying. There is a starting point. Now, you decide to run around your building. You can run around your building for as many times as you want to. You can run around it for 100 times. It's still the same building. Now, that's the concept behind loops. You have something you want to do for a particular period of time. Like you want to do something for a particular period of time, the same thing. So instead of repeating the code, maybe you want to do it 10 times. Instead of writing it 10 times, take for example, I want to print my name is Bayo. My name is Bayo. I want it to come out 10 times. I don't need to write console or write line. My name is Bayo. Console or write line. My name is Bayo. I don't need to write it 10 times. So that's the concept behind loops. So you write a loop that then you put the actions you want to be done, you put it inside the loop. So, and there are quite a number of them. And we'll start with the for loop. So, take for example, I want to print, just like the example I gave, I want to print my name is Bayo 10 times. Now, so this is the syntax for. So just write for. For those that are using Visual Studio, there's a shortcut. Any reserved word you are aware of, and you can't remember the syntax of how to write it. Just write that reserved word for, then press tab twice. So it automatically fill it up. So as you can see now, I have for int equals 0, I less than length, then I plus plus. Now there's a semicolon, that's a semicolon after the I equals 0, semicolon after. Now this is for loop. Now whatsoever I want to do will be inside the curly braces. So that's one good thing with C#. It helps you organize your code very well. Some other programming languages, they don't use curly braces like like Python. They don't use curly braces. Although Python is a very good language, but it doesn't use curly braces. So now, whatsoever you want to do, you put it inside the for loop. So now, for how many times will the loop, like for how many times will it, like how many times will you run around your house? So now, let me put my action first. What I want to do is I want to do console.writeLine. And what I want to print is my name. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Now I want to do it 10 times. Now, as you can see it at the for loop now, this now they call it your starting point. It is called your starting point. That's where it's going to you call it initialize, starting point or initialize. That's where it's going to start from. Then what you can see here is the condition. It's the condition that must be fulfilled before it goes for the next round. Like before I go for the next round. Now, what we now have here is repeat step. Okay, now int I equals 0. Now, I is just a variable. I can decide to change it to, let me say, D. Just a variable. I can decide to change it to D. Now, so now what I'm doing here is now, normally if you want to create a variable, we just say int, let's say maybe the same D, it's D equals 0. We've created a variable called D. So that's what it's doing there. So that's the initialize. We are initializing a variable called D to be 0. Now the condition, now, as long as D is less than length. So what's the length? I'm going 10 times. So 10. As long as D is less than 10. So this is the condition here. Now, here is the repetition step. Now, how I want D to increase, in what sequence. Now, D will be starting with 0. It will come here and print my name is Bayo. It will now come back. Now, when it's coming back, what's the step? Now, D will have increased by 1. That's what this repetition step is meant for. So that D++ means I'm going to add 1 to the value of D. So when it first does it, when it's coming back, D will be 1. To have added 1 to D. Then it will not check the condition. Oh, is D less than 10? Yes, D is 1. 1 is still less than 10. Okay, proceed. To now come and execute once again, and to go back again. Now it's coming back again. D is no longer 1. D is 2. So okay, D is 2. Is D less than 10? Yes, D is less than 10. Now, okay. Now it will do what is there. Then it goes back again. When it's coming, D is now 3. So it's going to continue. So you now see the idea of loops now, more like circle. Like we are going over the same thing over and over. So mine is just to print my name is Bayo. You can do as many things, various things, depending on the structure of your program, depending on the problem you are trying to solve. So now let's just run this simple program and let's see how it's going to come out. Now, don't forget that when we're working with console app, so that our console application does not just appear and go, we must put our read key. So it's wait for us to enter any keyboard before it goes off. So let me just quickly run this. Okay, I'm waiting for it to compile. Still waiting. Okay, so while we are waiting for that, let's move on. While we're waiting for it to compile, still on loops. Okay, so now we can see from the for loop. Okay, we didn't start with while. Okay, we'll go to while very soon. Now you can see the for loop. Okay, our output is almost out. Okay, I'll wait for it. It's still coming up. So now the concept of for loop. Now we can see that there's an initialize, there's a condition, and there's a repetition step. So you can determine what your condition will be. You can determine what your initialize will be, and you can determine what the repetition step will be depending on the instruction of your program. So our output is out now. Let me share our output. So this is our output. So as you can see, You can see on the output, my name is Bayo 1, my name is Bayo 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now that's just it. In response to our code is doing that. So you can put whatever you want to put inside the loop. So now let's move on. There are still different ways to write the for loop. There are different ways to write the for loop. Let's look at another way. Now, what if you don't have okay, what if you want it to increase by 2? Want to increase by 2? You can just say d plus 2. Okay. So now that will be the repetition step. So now in this case now, it will be repeating 2 times. That means it's going to come out just only 5 times. That means it's going to start from 0. Then when it does this, when it's coming back, we'll have added 0 to 2. So that will be d will now be 2. Then to check the condition, then it will come back, to print it to come back again. D is 2 at that point. Then we add 2 to d. That will be 4. Then it goes again. So let me just run this. Let me run this. Okay. So there are still different ways to write for loop. There are different ways. I want to teach us another way. And it's not only integer. It's not only integer you can use for loop. It's not only integer you can use for loop. So our output is compiling. Okay, it's out. It's out. Let me share with us. Okay, this output. So as you can see now, we have 5 Bayo here now. Now it's reacting to our step. Our step is 2. Our step is 2. So it's going to respond to that step, and it's going to be obeying our condition. So we can think of many things. So now let's go back to our Visual Studio. And okay. So now you can think of anything. So let me show you somewhere in that code that now if you can see this now, I applied for loop here now in the code I shared with us now. I'm starting at 0 and I'm saying I less than cost number. That's the condition. When as long as I is less than cost number, then increase I by 1. So now if you can remember what we did last week, now it's going to ask the student how many courses are you doing. So now when he asks the student, he's going to ask the student to enter score for as many number of courses he said he's doing. So now course number, I've collected course number here. So I'm using the course number. Now if you tell me you are doing 5 courses now, that means my condition will be okay for int I equals 0, I less than, that will be 5 now. Then it will be increasing it by 1. So to do that loop, that means it's going to, what is inside of it is enter the score, then store it, enter the score, store it, enter the score. So to ask the person for the number of times the person have entered for it. So now, I was saying that there are different ways other ways to write for loop. Now, what if you want to step down, like you are coming from somewhere very high? So let's assume initially our D is 10, then the condition, as long as our D is greater than, that's the condition, is greater than 5. As long as greater than 5, now we want to be reducing D. That will be D minus by 1 now. So now, this is what is happening here now. My D is starting from 10. Now the condition is it must be greater than 5, which is true for the first case. It's true for the first case. Now, and what is now the repetition step now? The repetition step is just help me to be reducing D by 1. So D will be 10 first, then it prints this. When it's coming back, D will not be 9. D will not be 9. Then when it prints this, when it's coming back, D will not be 8. So now it will now be checking for everybody as it's coming back, it's checking the condition. Is the OB still greater than 5? OB still greater than 5. So you can also write your for loop in that sense also. So now, what if you don't have a condition? What if you don't have a condition? Now there's what we call infinite loop. Infinite loop is like you don't know the number of times you want to iterate. Like you want it to continue for life. You want to continue for life. And in such scenario, this is how you are going to write it. You won't put any condition there. So you just wipe this out. Then you wipe the condition out. No condition, no initialize, nothing. Just wipe this out. And you leave it like this. So if you leave it like this, if you keep writing console.writeline, if you keep writing my name is it will continue till your system freezes. Because you've not put the condition, you've not put the initialize, and you've not put the repetition step. So that's how for loop works. So you can use this to write endless loop. Now let's go to while. While is another now. You can employ while in any structure. Let's go back to our, now this is an endless loop now, just like I explained. I would not want to run it because I don't want my system to freeze. Now, but I want this program to stop at a particular condition. So I will say, I can come here and initialize outside here. I can say int I equals 0. And I will say for every step, keep adding 1 to I. So that will be I plus plus. I can say I plus plus. That's the meaning of the I plus. You keep adding 1 to whatever is on ground. Now, what is the condition? The condition is do this while what? So I'm going to say while I is, let's say my condition now, while I is greater than 5. Now, while I is greater than 5. So let me just also bring the control. So now, let me just run this. Let me run this. I think there's any bug. I think the curly brace is there. That's good. That just reminded me. So I don't even understand what I just wrote. Now, this is normally an endless loop. Now, I don't want my system to freeze. So I need to stop this program at a particular point. So I've initialized I here to be 0. Then now, this program will only run while I is greater than 5. Else it will not run. Now, let me change it to what we learned last week. What if I change it to if, let me use if statement. If I is greater than 5, do this. Then I can say for Bumi, I was asking last week if we can put in some conditional statements into themselves. Yeah, you can see the application there now. So I can now say else. Now there's what we call break now. When you're working with a loop, now loop is very, very sensitive. You have to be very careful. Else you create an infinite loop. And an infinite loop will end up freezing your laptop. Like it will consume your system memory because to keep running and like if you're not using a strong system, it can freeze up. So now this is an endless loop now. If the number is greater than 5, no, that is not correct. It won't run this. Let me use if it's less than 5, do this. But if it is not less than 5, now break. Now the meaning of break is you should jump out of the loop. Like just terminate whatsoever you are doing in that loop. Just come out of that loop for me, young man. So now let me put a print here. So let me just write here and console the right line. And just say this is the end of the loop. This is the end. So let me run it. So while it's running, I will entertain question. So I don't know if you have question, you can put it on the chat or we can speak since we are not that much. So you can speak. Any question so far? Any question? Okay.
No question.
Okay, thank you so much. So now let me share the output with us. Yeah. So now we can see the output. Now you see that it's printed it 5 times. Printed it 5 times and it printed the last thing. This is the end of the loop. Now let me explain again. So why will it print 5 times? Why will it print 5 times? So come in. Let me share my screen. Okay. So now it prints 5 times because now this is an endless loop. Now the I has been initialized outside the loop to be 0. And if I is less than 5, now the first case now is coming, definitely I is 0. That will be 0 less than 5. Then to add to the value of I will become 1. Then to print what is there. Then else is not meant for it. It has already fulfilled this condition. Then to jump out of it, then to go back again to this for loop. To check. Now at that point now I is now 1. So is 1 less than 5? Yes. So to add 1 to 1, that will be 2. Then to print this. So to continue, so when it gets to 6, is 6 less than 5? No. So to come out. Now else, then fulfill that condition. Else, then to break. That break now pursues it like get out of that loop for me. So it gets out of that loop, it now comes down here to print this. So that's the idea of endless loop. So you can write an endless loop. You can put your condition inside the loop. You can do whatever you want to do. So now let's go to do while. Let's go to do while. So it's just the same concept also. Just the same concept. But let's write it do while. So now you want to do something, but now in this case now your condition is down. It's like at the end of the program. So like I can just say, let's say do. Example we'll be working with. Bad. Okay, so now do, and you want to do something. So now, just like I said, if I don't know the syntax, I've already pressed do now. So you can see now it's saying, tap twice to insert do snippet. Call it snippet. So just tap it back. So now this do now. Do, then you put whatever you want to do inside the curly braces. Then while now this is where your condition will be lying now. This is where your condition is now. So I can repeat the same thing and just say, what do I want to do? Do right line. That's what I want to do, nothing more, nothing less. Then while, when do I want this loop to stop? That's what the while is meant for. When do I want to stop this loop now? So I'll not put my condition key. While, let me put while I is equal to 5. Now, as it is now, there's still a problem because I can never be equal to 5 because there's no way I'm increasing my I over the time. So I started with 0. So when it does it for the first time, when it's coming back, I still carry the same value of 0. So what I can do is here, I can decide to increment I for every, as it goes over the loop, as it comes down and it goes, it increases. So when it's equal to 5, to stop whatever it's doing. So I can run this now. And just run it. Very simple line. Simple line. Looking for it. Okay, you can see my output already. So now we can see now we are going to go. This is the end of the loop. Oh, there's a bug there. There's a bug. There is a bug. Okay, there is a bug. Now our condition is very invalid. Very invalid. So now this condition was not fulfilled. So therefore it stopped after the first work. So now why not use while it is less than while, so this is the condition. So not while it is equal to, it's not going to be equal to until once. That's when it's going to come back. So this is the condition to do it and come back. So now if there's any question, I can put it on the chat. I want to move very fast now. I want to go to nested loops. Now, the concept behind nested loop is a situation whereby you have a loop inside loop. Now, when you're writing your code or working on the project or anything, you may have reason to have loop inside a loop. Now, if you look at this code that I wrote last week and shared it. If you look at do itself is a loop that you can see it now. Up to this point, do is a loop. Now, inside do, there is for loop. There is for loop. So now this one has become a nested loop. But you're having a loop inside a loop. You can have maybe 20 loops inside a loop. You can have them like that. And depending on what you are trying to solve. So that's quite the concept behind for loops. So let's look at a very practical example. Let's look at a very practical example. Let me say for I equals 0, I is less than 10. Okay, increase it. Then I want to put another 4 inside it. I can put another 4 and then just say 4. Another condition itself. So now let me just call this J. J equals 0. J less than 5. Then keep increasing J. So now whatever I want to do while I'm inside this loop now, it will only be inside here now. Now whatever I want to do outside this loop now can come after that. So let's do something now. Let me just write inside this one, write console dot write line. And outside there, let me write question to the class now. Class is like looking boring for me, sounding boring for me. I'm not talking sense. So I want someone to explain how this code will run. Like what will be the output. Let me change this to 5 also. I also want to explain it like someone can explain the way I've been explaining it so that anyone can understand. So anybody can speak. No, Mr. Justice, I work on. You came late. You pay fine now.
No, I'm really sorry about that.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. So you can do it to check the video. I'll try and send everything out before the end of tomorrow. So now I want someone to explain that code. At least Mr. Justice might not be, but the three of us, I want someone to explain how this code will work based on our understanding now. I will call him. We are not in a physical classroom now. I've not even seen your face. So don't be shy to explain the code to us. So I'll call Nemo. Okay. Mrs. Goodness, can you explain how this code will run for us? Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so we are waiting for you. Want you to
Hello?
explain how the code will work for us?
Okay, I think you just explained that it's a nested loop. There's a loop inside the loop, Abi.
Yeah.
So I think from the code you just wrote here, the first loop, there's one that's inside. That's in the I belong J. Mm. It will keep on, that is repeating inside. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, though.
Yes,
If
I'm
what
getting
I'm
you.
saying is okay. Then that one will run inside the main loop that you are creating. That is that integer 1 = 0, integer I.
Okay.
So that's why I'm that.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me add some things to what she said. Now, looking at the way it's going to start, now for this is the main, this is the loop outside, this is the one inside now. Now, for a start, I will be 0. That's the first thing. I will be 0. Then this condition would have been fulfilled. Definitely 0 is less than 5. Then it will add one value to I. Now, so now it will now come here. In this case now, there's another loop inside of it, which is the one for J. Now, the same condition now. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to execute this before coming back again. Now, this one is going to like come 5 times itself before it gets out of it. Now, the concept behind it is, let me take for example, this I is going to work. If it's going to print it now, it's going to print I belong to I first, then it will now print I belong to J 5 times. Then when it's coming back again, it will print I belong to I. It will come again and it will now print I belong to J 5 times again. Because this one, it's a loop itself that must be completed before it gets out of it to something else. So it's going to loop over this before it comes back again. Do we understand?
Yeah, very well.
Okay. So now
Yes.
let's just run it and see how it's going to go. So now one thing in addition, now if you notice this case now is going to start from 0, then while I is, that's the condition, is so 5 is not going to be inclusive. So now our output is out. It's looking confusing. It's looking confusing. Let me just show us first before I work on it. It's looking clumsy. Can we all see the output?
Yes.
Okay, it's looking clumsy. So, but look at what I'm trying to say. To print and belong to I first, then to now print 5 I belong to J. Then print I belong to I again, 5 I belong to J. I belong to I, 5 I belong to J. And it's going to continue like that. So until it's done. So now it's going to ensure it finishes the loop inside before it goes out to the outer loop again. Do we get? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So okay. Let me share. Yeah. Okay. So now that's concerning nested loop. So you can ask as many. I can even come inside this for loop and create another loop, or even use a do while inside them. Program is very sweet. I can decide to use a do while, and like even inside it, I can decide to use another for loop. It will keep going like that. I think if you can see the structure, you can do as many things you want. I can decide to use maybe switch case I want to use there. I can decide to use switch case. It does not respect anybody. Just keep going, depending on what we are trying to solve. So I think that marks the end of all I want to achieve in this class today. So that's all that has to do with decision making and loops. So we looked at decision making last week, and here we are for loops also. So we looked at how to write various loops. Look at the for loops and the do while statement. So now to cap it up with this class today, I will want us to look at this code, and I will just explain line by line how it works. So just like I was teaching, you can comment it. I've highlighted it and you can comment it. Which has is such a wonderful idea. So okay, now let's look at our code. I showed us what it does last week to collect the number of students, then to collect their score, then to subject it to a condition. Okay, now so this first line now, that's line 10. Console.write line, enter the number of students you are considering. So this will only print what we have here. Now, to now collect whatever the person enters using read line. Now, I explained last week that whatever you collect on the read line is in the string format. So since the person is sending number as an integer, but it's being received by our application as a string, we need to convert the string to integer. So we use this int.pass. So it converts whatever the person enters to an integer. Now it's now store it inside a variable called std number. So now this line 12, what it just does is I just created created a variable and I initialized to be 0. You understand why I did that as we go on. So now we can see our do here. Do while what? So now this do now. This is all I want to do. This is the loop now. You can see it ends here now. What is my condition? While std calc is less than std number. Now, what is std calc? What is std number? Now, std number is the number of students it wants to consider. Now, std calc, now, I use it to keep track of the number of students that is being done. So now, for a start, this is 0 now. It has not done any students. Now, when it enters the loop now, it increases student calc to be 1. So now, the condition now is student calc hope is still less than the number of students we want to consider for this project. Now, it's still less than it. Okay, we are still 0. Okay, fine. So it enters here, it increases by 1. Now, it's now a console enter the number of courses offered by this student as the first student. So to print it out, okay, enter the number of courses. So it will enter it using the console read line. Then to convert it to an integer, we are familiar with that. Then it stores the number of the courses the student is offering inside course number. So now, if we look at line 18, you may not fully understand now. It's a little bit complex, but let me explain. Now, just like you created data type int, double, string, and the likes. Now you can have lists, like list also as a data type. Maybe you want to have list in this case now, the list of the students' course now, list of names, list of one thing or the other now. So now this is how you write it now. I created a list. So this is the name of the variable, score list. Now this is how we create it. Now, this is the data type of the list. Now, that means all the scores I want to collect will be in double format. Now, this is how you create a list. Now, it's an empty list now, but there's nothing inside. That's it. So now, I now want to iterate. The person has entered the number of courses that such student is offering. So now, I want to iterate over the number of courses. Then I want you to enter score for each of those courses. Then when you enter scores, I want to store this score inside the empty list I've created. So now for I equals 0, while I is less than course number, the repetition step of 1. So now I is 0 first, I less than course number. So that will be dependent on the number of course that particular student is offering. So let's assume he's offering 3 courses. So for I less than 3. So now, okay, enter the score for. Now, if you look at the way I wrote my right line here, enter the score for course. Now use a curly bracket 0 now. So this 0 now will be replaced by this variable outside here. So to be enter the score for course, that will be I plus 1. For the first time, I is 0. That will be 0 plus 1. So to be enter the score for course 1. So now, whatever the person enters, this will capture it, consider it line. I need to convert it to double. Double.pass will convert it. Then I now need to add it to the score list, empty list I've created. So it will be score list dot add. So to add also the person has created to the empty list I created. So to go back again, we know how 4 works. So now when it's coming back now, I is now 1. So to check, hope 1 is less than course number, which is 3. Yes, it is less than it. Then it's okay, console, enter the score for course 2. No, for course 2, yes. So that will be 1. In this case now, I has become 1. So that will be 1 plus 1. That will be course 2. So to collect it using console.read line, convert it using double, then add it to the score list, which is here. So to add it. So when it's done collecting the score list now there's also a loop, a for each loop. Now, but this one now is quite different. Now, this for each is for you to iterate over a particular list. Now, I use var now. When you declare it in var, that means you don't know the data type that is coming. You can declare var. var can decide to take up a string format at the end of the day. You can decide to take up an integer, you can decide to take up a double or whatever. So when you are not certain of the data type, you can just declare it to be var. So now var score in score list. So the score list now, I want to iterate over the score list I've collected now. So now I'll be starting. So now the points now, I just declare the points to be 0, the grade to be F. I just declare that. Then the status now, the zip pass or it failed, to be empty also. I want to store it inside the string now. So now we're not bringing our conditions that we looked at last week. So now if score, that means the score here now is just here now. So now let's assume the student entered 20, 40, 50, 60. It has stored the list, stored them as a list now. So I'm iterating over the list now. So you're going to start with the 20. So now for each var score in score list, so it's going to start with 20. So now score will be 20. So 20 is 20 greater than 70 and 20 less than 100? No. To check the other condition, is it fulfilled? No. So now it will end at the else now. So it will now give it a grade equals F and point equals 0. So that's what it's going to do. So when it's done with that, move to the next line. So that's why it now say you have now 0 now we occupy point. So you have 0 points and grade 1 now we occupied the grade I've given it, which is F, and grade F haven't scored 2 now. What is 2 now? 2 is score here now. So what is the person's score? 20. I haven't scored 20 now. So it's now also print 3 also. 3 is the status now. What is the status I've given it now? The status now is failed now. Okay, what is the status? Why do you have to do status? Oh, the status is not there. Okay, so I need to put the status. I did not update the status. So let me, by default, let me make the status to be passed. If the person passed only if it is so. In this case now, I'll just say status was failed. So it's only when you have F that you failed. So else you actually pass. So now it's going to print that. So it's going to do that for the first corner. When they're coming back again, it's coming to the second score. Maybe the person entered 45 now. So that'll be 45. It will check, okay, where does 45 belong? Which condition is 45? This is around there. So to give grade to be D for the person and points to be 2. Then it will jump out of it, then to come and print what we have here, then to come back again. So it will iterate over the list we have created. So it will do that for the first student now. So you can see now, the do loop is still covering the whole activity. That's for the student. So that means all we are doing here is just for one student. So when it's coming back again now, it will now do okay, student calc plus, that will be 1 plus 1 now. So student calc will now be 2. Then to now ask the student how many calls did you do? That's for student 2 now, and so on and so on. So let me just run it and let's see the output. Then I will now entertain question and then we'll close the class. So let me run the code. So let's prepare if you have any questions, we can raise our questions now.
Okay, so I have a question, please.
Okay.
Maman, I downloaded the code from GitHub, right?
Yes.
And when I tried to run it, the first problem I encountered was that I wanted to explain what system.collection.generic means, because I said that it is linked to the list that we declared.
Yes.
Earlier.
Yes.
So how does that work? So that'll be the first question. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, that's a brilliant one. So now I explained that I made use of list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now list it belongs to a particular name space, like is in another word entirely. So now I need to, now when you use the word using in C#, that means there's
Yeah.
a library, let me call it library somewhere now. You want to use some of
Okay.
its property to execute something. So now for me to make use of lists in my code, I needed to using system.collection.generic. So list actually
Yeah.
belongs to that library. Do we get?
Yeah.
So in assuming I did not use list now, there won't be any need for it. So as you write code over and over and over, you may even have to use as many libraries and like up to 10, and depending on what you are trying to solve. Okay, so let's look at the output now. Is out. So now this is now enter the number of students. So just try and be picturing what we just explained and the way it's going to work. So enter the number of students, 4 students, enter the number of courses offered by this student, enter 3. So enter score for course 1, 65, course 2, 78, course 3, 34. So graded the student, oh, you pass, and like, okay, enter the number of courses offered by this student. So he has moved now to the second student now. Okay, a person offered 5 courses. Start for the first course, 56, second course, 67, 87, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now we have the output. So this particular student did excellently well. Let me add for the other student, 4 courses, 23, 45. So we have it like that, like that, like that. So that's how the code works. So I would encourage us to still go and take time. I intentionally wrote a code that kind of captures all that we are doing in this module. And this is a very perfect example. So just go and sit down and look at it very well. Then I forgot to mention something last week. Now, what if my condition is not and, like, what if it's like, okay, if it is this or that, like if it is what kind of example can I make use of? Now, assuming it's an or, let me write something like this. Let me just comment my okay, comment. Okay, so now let me just do something like this. Let me say a equals, okay, let me say int a equals 3. Don't forget the semicolon. Int b equals 4. So now I now say, okay, console dot write line, and I say enter any number. Then and I say okay, whatever the person enters, let me store it inside. Let me make it double. Make it store it inside C. Then I need to convert it double dot pass. Okay, then I do console dot close. Okay, then whatever the person enters. So I want to subjective conditions. I want to say if what the person enters C is equal to, okay, let me convert it to now. If C is equal to A, now I want to do or. I'm not doing and in this case now. So we use this symbol. I don't know if you can see it. So if C equals A or C equals B, what do I want to do? Print. Okay, that will be console. Sorry, no using print is for Python. Console dot write line. Okay, on the track. Let's guess. Okay. So now, and then I say, okay, else, if what you enter is not any of such, else, say console Right line. And I say guess again. Okay, that's very something very simple. So now here's how you write for when it comes to like using all statements, like is this condition fulfilled or this condition fulfilled? If any of the condition is fulfilled, go ahead and do what you have here. So, but in the case of and, the two conditions must be fulfilled. So that's when to use and. So let's just see how this is going to work. See how it's going to work. So any question while we wait for this? Any other question?
Okay. The question I have is that based on the assignment that we're doing, the first assignment, so I was trying to look at how I was going to convert the integer. So I was supposed to get an input from a user. So,
Yes.
and input in C# comes as strings. So I was looking for how to convert it. So I went online to look how to convert it, and then I got this dot convert dot something.
Yes.
Right?
Dot int text, right?
Yes. So I wanted to know how that is different from the int dot pass method they are using.
It's the same thing. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You can decide to use that. You can decide to use this.
Okay.
Yeah, you can decide to use that. You can decide to use this.
Okay, noted.
Our output is out. Okay. Okay. So say enter any number. So let me just enter 2. Guess again. So, oh, I didn't put read key. That's a big error. So let me address that. We didn't put consider read key. So I want to believe we are reading the material I sent. I know we can't cover everything in this boot camp. That's one truth about programming language. But what we can only do is just give tips and guide. So, but the material I sent, if you can, just like we said in the first class, the first introductory class, that when you get the basics in C#, you can do many things. So you can see enter a number. If I enter 2, okay, let me enter 3, which is okay, you're on the track. Nice guess. So assuming I enter something else, it's going to tell me I should guess again. So that's that about that. So before we call it a day, it's exactly an hour. Exactly an hour. Any other question? Do you understand?
Okay, so
Okay.
I want to know, so that means do we need to know every library, like if you want to import something, like now you're using a list. So how do you know the exact something, or there's a documentation somewhere that we can check?
Okay.
Because I know like you can automatically give us what you want, like.
Okay. Now, that's a very good one. Now, one thing with programming is, like you learn every day. Like when you code more, you know more. Like experience is what comes now. If I want to do something now, I know the right thing to use because I've used it before. And how I was able to come in contact with such knowledge is you use Google. That's just it. You use Google a lot. Like no programmer does not use Google. No program. So you use Google a lot. Just search it. No matter how ridiculous it is, just like how to do this on C#. Then you see it. Then when you know it, you can't forget it again. So there's no, and when you read books, you may see some strange syntax, some strange reserve words that are being used. So when you see them, you try them. When you try them, that has become part of you. So that's the reason why practice is very, very important. So there's not actually somewhere you can actually see everything because they are countless. So the more you work, the more the experience you have. So I think Mr. Bumi is raising his hand. Okay, you can.
Okay, sir. The program you run the other time, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you hearing me? Yeah, the program you run the other time, sir.
Yes, sir.
The first score for the students,
Yes.
the courses that were displayed was 3 courses. Why for the second students, 5 courses were displayed.
Yes.
So why was that so?
I just made it depends on the program. I made the program that flexible. So a student maybe just like, let me just talk like a typical student. A student might have a carryover, understand? So I don't want the program to be rigid. So I decided to add that flexibility to it. Okay, the students can decide to have me 5 courses. You're having a carryover course and all that. So that was, I gave that room in the program I wrote, and that can be seen here. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So any other question? Okay, Mr. Ayodele, any question? Mr. Justus, any question? Is goodness, any question?
Sorry, one last one. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
The network is bad.
Huh? Hello, can you come again?
Yes, yes. I'm the question, please.
Okay.
Okay, so from the code that I made on GitHub, you actually use the switch case, use the switch cases here.
Okay, okay.
So the part that you changed earlier, that I said string, equal to string empty, you actually use them switch at that point.
Okay, yes. Yeah. So I think I've not updated. I did not update. So that one actually works also. So it depends on that one actually work. I've even forgotten the point I used. I think I used switch case. Let me go to my GitHub and let me see it from there. Let me share my GitHub from you. Okay. Can we see this? Can we see this now? Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we can see where I did switch case now. So instead of that's just to tell us the flexible. Like I decided to write that. I haven't forgotten. I wrote it in another way here. So I use switch case here. So now the switch case. Now I'm switching. If you can remember what we did concerning switch case last week. Now what you want to subject to condition will be inside of here. So I want to check points now. So now if the point is 2, that's what we mean by case 2. If the point is 2, or the point is 3, or the point is 4, the point is 5, let the status be passed. Now I've assigned points here to be 5, 4, 3, 2. So now, but if the point is not in any of these, is not in any of the case I've mentioned here now this default now should be done now. Status equals failed. So now when you use case, ensure you break out of every case, or else to give you error. So ensure you break out of every case when you're using switch case. So I decided to write it in a different way I haven't forgotten I wrote it this way. So there are different approaches. That's why when we are giving assignments, it's not expected that you have the same solution. So I decided to think differently depending on the tools you have at hand. So can do things different ways. So any other question? Any other question? Okay. So in the absence of question, I would like to encourage us, please make sure you read the material very well, practice very well. You have a long way to go. I tell you, you have a long way to go. Like just where to check, go to the podcast. When you listen to people that are ahead, you know there are many things to learn. So, and start envisioning what you want to use C# to do. So, do I want to become a desktop application developer? Do I want to become a web developer using C Sharp? Do I want to become a mobile developer using C Sharp? So start making research, start checking things on the internet. What are the things that we need and all that? So, but you need to get the basics right, which is what you are learning now. So we'll be moving to another module next week. So I will send the assignment for this module. As many of us that are yet to submit the assignment for the last module, do it to submit it, because I'll be sending another assignment to the Slack channel today. So this assignment, it ought to be, you have 1 week to also finish this particular one. So before the end of the module, you're going to have finished the one I'll be giving and the one that Mr. Software has given. So it's a wonderful time with us. Thank you so much. So the time for next week will be sent to the channel by Sunday, so that we can clear our mind. So thank you so much. Any other question? Any other business? Okay, so if none, thank you so much. We'll see you next week and see you on the channel. So if you have any problem, if you don't understand, like some of the questions we've pended to this moment, put them on the channel. We will respond. We will send you links on where you can get much more understanding. So let's do it to maximize the channel. So thank you so much. So see you next week.